This week's dumpster fire starts out with Sophie in a flashback sequence from 5 years ago talking to Arthur Brown, aka the Clue Master in Blackgate Prison, as she was the one responsible for getting him locked up, and he is obviously pissed that she solved his puzzle and had him incarcerated. And we flip ahead to the present day, and a hapless fucking guard comes to Arthur Brown's cell to wake him up. When he doesn't respond, of course the stupid useless white male corrections officer walks into the cell and gets shanked in the neck and dies after reading a stupid fucking clue on the wall, because the white men, who aren't major villains in the show, are just there to be killed off on a whim. Fuck this, roll the fucking credits.
Peter, I'm really starting to question why I'm even friends with you in the first place.
Welcome to the place to be reviews.
I was a little frustrated. Batwoman, that's just a car. Somebody's watching this show. That really annoyed me. Batwoman is still doing quite well. It doesn't even look like Batwoman.
Batwoman is beating up what appears to be a countless amount of False Face Society goons, like NPCs in Street Fighter, and Little Fox is babbling like a brook in her ear as she mightily disposes of the overly accommodating stuntmen one after another. Literally, they fucking attack her one at a fucking time, and it's so goddamn hilarious to watch her beat up 250-pound men. Then, Agent Tavarov has her at gunpoint, and she proceeds to tell him and the Crows that they suck and they're idiots who are basically racist and don't care about anyone in Gotham. And if it wasn't for them, Black Mask would be in prison already, and she just fucking gets away from all the white men and the team of the Crow agents who can't never ever be as tough and smart as Batwoman. We find ourselves in a park after dark. I'm not trying to rhyme, I'm not a poet and didn't know it, but Dougray Scott is probably actually speedballing heroin and cocaine just to get through this fucking episode. But seriously, Jacob Kane, the head of the Crows, is sitting at a picnic table in the middle of the night shooting up fucking snakebite. And at this point, I'm like, is he fucking homeless? Does he not ever go to his place of residence or anything? He just goes to park benches and gets high on snakebite? This is what we're doing now with him? Because we have nothing else to do with Jacob Kane? Oh yeah, I forgot. And then he hallucinates and sees Kate and Alice on swings, and he's all high and happy and shit, which is just cringy, bad, stupid writing. Over at the Sionis residence, Alice is being tortured by Black Mask and Cersei, Kate, or whatever. Alice starts rambling and Mask yells at her to shut up because he's the one being tortured, not him.
You get your bitch ass back in the kitchen and make me some pie.
He puts a blade under her fingernail and says if that doesn't work, we've got 9 more chances, because Alice tells him that she doesn't know who Batwoman is. Meanwhile, at Casa de Lesbicano, Mary and Sophie are drinking tequila and Ryan enters, sees Sophie and immediately says,
Why is there a crow in our loft?
Let me stop you right there, you fucking pathetic cow. It's not our loft. It's not even your loft. It's Kate's loft. And Mary is nice enough to let your dumb ass stay there. Gave you a job at Lesbo's Bar and Grill, and you just walk in and demand to know why Mary has a guest over. Did she complain when your stupid ass drug dealing girlfriend Angelique Thies was over? No. Then shut the fuck up, sit the fuck down. Grown folks are talking, you fucking twat. Mary starts bitching back and says, I don't have to run guests by you. And Sophie says, you can join us. And then Sophie says, as a
The lesbian!
who is married to a man, drinking is the key to denial. And then they play Never Have I Ever. And it turns out that Ryan is...
Yeah, scissor!
That's right, Ryan is scissoring Amani, aka the nerdy black girl from the community center, and accidentally texted Mary a naughty message. And Mary says, consider me an unwilling third participant. So right there, we know Mary's only about 25% lesbicano. Ryan then goes full fucking retard and says,
Never have I ever compromised my values to supporting white supremacist organizations.
I can't even make this shit up. And she directly is referring to the Crows. Holy fucking shit. 7 minutes into this episode and the writing has shit the bed worse than Amber fucking Heard. The Crows are a white supremacist organization because they lock up criminals? Well, if Ryan thinks the Crows are racist for locking up criminals, I hope the actual FBI crime statistics never find their way into her hands, or she'll probably have a fucking heart attack. Caroline Dries, your official checkmark writer's room Twitter, blocked me, and now the official CW Batwoman account blocked me, so I'm going to directly ask you this. Are you actually fucking retarded? Or are you such a self-loathing white heifer you simply allow your pigs who throw shit at a wall to come up with this fucking dialogue and run completely unchecked? Don't bother answering that, you fucking moron. It's completely rhetorical. Mary says, never have I ever kissed Batwoman, and Sophie drinks. Then Sophie basically calls out Ryan for being Batwoman, and they find a poisonous caterpillar in the bottom of the bottle, and Ryan, who's the world's greatest detective, finds a card with a riddle on it from Clue Master, and it sets up a rescue they'll undoubtedly have to go on together. Fuck you, Caroline Dries. Sophie explains who Arthur Brown, aka Clue Master, is, and Ryan, Mary, and Sophie are going to figure out what he's up to. And of course, Ryan takes a candle to the bottle of tequila, and it exposes a pair of crossed assault rifles, and the trio of stunning and brave lesbicanos are drunkenly off to take down another toxic white male villain, even though they're all literally fucking drunk.
Man.
Alice is about to lose her first fingernail at the hands of Black Mask and Kate, and Cersei, whatever the fuck her name is, and she frees herself from the chair and KOs Cersei with a bottle of wine. When she re-enters the room, takes her phone and calls Jacob to rescue her, but Jacob's all fucking stoned and doesn't know what's going on, so Cersei just gets up and knocks her the fuck out again.
Have you ever seen anything like this, Pat?
So our intrepid, diverse trio breaks into a building. As they're talking, Sophie admits that she didn't solve the Clue Master's riddle when he got locked up. The best part of this scene is when they're going to jump over the fence, and Sophie, of course, gives Mary a boost because Mary's basically fucking worthless, and Sophie pulls herself over, and then Ryan's like, what, no boost for me? And then she pulls herself over, and Sophie's like, what, first fence? And Ryan's like,
It'll come as a shock to you, but B&E doesn't come naturally.
and Ryan acts like a snooty cunt to her, and Sophie checks her. Mary touches something, and a bunch of lights turn on, and we meet Stephanie Brown, Clue Master's daughter, locked in a box in the middle of a shooting range. Stephanie, of course, develops a nosebleed, and our diverse trio springs into action. Sophie's going to try to shoot the box open, and they're trying to figure out which order to shoot the targets in. Sophie shoots the targets in the correct order, the walls of the box fall down, and Mary gives Stephanie the medicine they found, and we see that Stephanie is covered in what looks like coded writing. Gee, do you think the Clue Master did that to her? Meanwhile, back at the Sionis Hacienda, Cersei, do I have to keep calling her that? I didn't even fucking watch Game of Thrones, and I know that's where that stupid cow Caroline Dries came up with that stupid-ass copied name. So, Cersei or Kate or whatever the fuck you want to call her says the last guy who tried to one-up her ended up with gouged eyes like two olives on toothpicks, and this is just peak fucking autistic writing. And Alice says that makes me want a martini. I fucking love Rachel Scarston, though. Alice basically figures out that Cersei isn't Cersei, and Alice tells her that if she brings back Black Mask, she'll tell her exactly what she wants to hear regarding Batwoman or Black Woman or the stupid bitch that wears the mask. Our diverse trio of ladies call in Little Fox, and they have a nerd flirting moment between him and Stephanie, and the whole fucking scene is horribly written, and the lesbicanos don't like seeing Little Fox hitting on Stephanie Brown. They go to the Quiz Bowl set at the TV studio, and a video starts playing, and it's Arthur Clue Master Brown, and he tells them they've all stepped onto a pressure-sensitive platform. Well, Mary and Ryan have. Hopefully it just blows these two fucking retards all just to hell into tiny little bits, but we know that's not going to happen. Remember, they've stepped on a pressure-sensitive platform, and if they step off it, they'll blow up. And we don't need chunks of 2.5 lesbicanos everywhere, so they better figure this shit out.
So,
Clue Master has a 5-minute timer that's been rigged with C4. He returns after these commercial messages and is asking our Gotham 2.5 Lesbicano Quiz Bowl team questions about Gotham's villains in exchange for more time being added to the clock when they buzz in with the correct answer. Not that this makes any fucking sense, but it's a CW and these fucking twats are clueless.
Hey, and you look like if I touched you, you'd be sticky, and frankly, you smell bad.
Little Fox and Stephanie are in the midst of a montage, and they're obviously flirting with each other, and Stephanie figures out the code, and then she knocks Luke out because he's a bitch-made pussy, and she just leaves his unconscious ass laying on the floor. Probably the same thing that happened to him last time he went to that fucking bathhouse.
Gay!
Back at the Quiz Bowl set, Team Gotham Lesbicanos has got the timer up to 45 minutes, and Sophie says we should call Batwoman. And her and Ryan argue over that because, well, let's be honest, Batwoman is already in the room. in the form of one of the lesbicanos on the Quiz Bowl team. Then they all agree to replace their weight with an exact counterweight. And they're like, let's call Luke. He'll know what to do. And, of course, his punk ass is knocked unconscious on the floor. And, Ryan and Mary's, or should I say Mary's loft, not Ryan's, because Ryan doesn't pay shit to live there because she's a fucking freeloading twat.
Sheer fucking hubris.
Roman Sionis, or Black Mask, whatever the fuck we want to call this jackass, is in the middle of a monologue to Alice, at gunpoint, of course, and Alice tells him that she knows he's Roman Sionis. And Alice tells Roman that she can make Circe a new face because, well, she's good with the skin. I mean, let's be honest. I have a feeling that Rachel never mind. I'm not going to go there because, well, we all know my affinity for Rachel Scarston, but it's only challenged by a close second to Wallace Day now.
Okay, now to be fair.
Ryan is arguing with Mary about telling Sophie that she's Batwoman. Then Sophie tells Ryan that she knows she's Batwoman, and Ryan pouts like a petulant racist child. Ryan also guides Sophie to the Batcave and tells her to get her bat baton and to make sure she uses a Clorox wipe on it first. Well, never mind.
That's nasty.
I honestly can't fucking wait to see how this one plays out.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Sophie goes to the Batcave and grabs the bat baton that Ryan uses for, never mind, and heads back to the Quiz Bowl set to save the day, even though Ryan's an insufferable bitch and is nothing but mean to Sophie. But, they're both lesbians, so of course they're going to
Scissor me timber!
Stephanie and Arthur Brown are outside of the childhood home where she grew up, and they're babbling about some nonsense and whatever. And Stephanie tells him that she got him locked up, not Sophie, and then he's all pissy about it. How could you do that? Everything I did was for you. And in the wonkiest of fucking scenes, he throws a little smoke. You know how when people are going to get away in the cartoons, they're like, "Nyah!" And the villain will throw a smoke bomb on the ground and it blows up. That's basically what he does, is he throws this little smoke bomb on the ground. You think he's going to escape, but no. They pan away, and of course, they're both locked in a car together, and he's going to gas them to death inside of this car. And then little Fox wakes up, and he smashes the window and, heroically pulls Stephanie out of the car. And so the villain, he just leaves him in there because, fuck this guy. He's white anyway, so it doesn't really matter if he dies. Toxic white male in this show. He's expendable. So, but no, really, he lives. I think they get him out of the car. Luke doesn't do it because he's more worried about trying to score brownie points and simp for this bitch who knocked him out with a fucking shoe. But I guess she flirts like a fucking toddler, Toddlers hit each other, and it's that's how they like each other. But I guess that's what she did to Luke.
He was a retard.
Back at the Quiz Bowl set, Mary and Ryan are talking whilst waiting to die. And Mary blurts out to Ryan that Sophie figured out that Jacob is using snakebite. That's really relevant at the moment as the clock ticks down to their impending fucking doom, which a prospect that excites me greatly because both of these characters are complete fucking morons. Sophie runs in with Ryan's vibrator, and Ryan uses her grappling hook bat vibrating baton to save her and Mary, and she tells Sophie, "Get out the door." And outside, after the explosion, Sophie comes and scrapes Ryan's sorry carcass up off the pavement and says,
"Yeah, scissor!"
Well, basically after that, you know what's in store for these two characters next. But there'll be a couple of back at the Brown household. So according to the EMTs, Arthur Brown, or Clue Master, will live, and he's of course going to go back to Blackgate Prison, Penitentiary. And Little Fox and Stephanie have their little moment and discuss their feelings, of course, because this is a CW show. And what would it be without fucking feelings? And, of course, she gives him a kiss. And Luke isn't...
Gay!
Confirmed.
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
Back at Mary's super secret underground clinic that nobody knows about but everybody knows about that's now legal, Mary is leaving dear old dad, Jacob Kane, a voicemail. And what do you know? Her staff at the super secret underground clinic that nobody knows about but everybody knows about that's now legal comes wheeling in good old Jacob on a gurney in the midst of a snakebite overdose nonetheless, complete with him foaming at the mouth. A pair of homeless guys found him with the snakebite injector still stuck in his leg.
Because that's what heroes do.
Ryan and Sophie are drinking together at So I have a question, though, about Ryan. Is she already cheating on the fucking Imani woman already with Sophie? I mean, who she hates because she calls her Crofy. I mean, is that like the equivalent of like pulling a little girl's pigtail, you know, like when you're a boy and you're, you know, flirting? I mean, I don't know how this works, but they're at Lesbos anyway, bar and grill. And wait, there, let me do this right. Let me introduce it right. This isn't just some bar.
This is Lesbos!
Ryan asks Sophie how she figured out that she was Batwoman, and Sophie tells Ryan that she stopped the crows from finding out she was Black Woman or Batwoman, and after she found the gimmick in the car, in Mary's car after Ryan drove it in Fast and the Furious Gotham Drift, and she analyzed it and found her voice on there talking about blah, 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 I'm Batwoman, blah, 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 check out my lesbian accessories. And yeah, that's how she found out she was not only a lesbian, but bat lesbian at that. So yay, bat lesbians. Let's do it one more time for good measure. And to wrap this episode up and put a bow on it, Alice is sewing Cersei, or Kate, or whatever the fuck her name is, a new face. And Alice takes off her mask and tells her that she knows that she isn't Cersei because Cersei died in the escape from Arkham or wherever the fuck she was locked up. I can't remember. It was so long ago. And she puts on the new face mask or skin mask and realizes that she is Kate. And she says, "You have our father's eyes." And she looks at her and she says, "Kate." And it's like, well, there goes a lesbian encounter between these two. I mean, they're not stepsisters. They're real sisters. So that's out. It's not shot in Kentucky. And that's where we leave this week's painfully boring fucking garbage tier episode. Da-na-na, da. Ah, Jesus Christ. Monkeys, roll the footage. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Peter, I'm really starting to question why I'm even friends with you in the first place.
Oh, that does it for this week's episode. It was painful. It was horrible. It was bad. The writing is terrible. Like I said, I've almost got the holy trinity of being blocked on Twitter. I've got the official Batwoman account that's blocked me. I've got the writer's room that's blocked me from the CW Batwoman show. These are the official checkmark accounts that have blocked me. So, Caroline Dries, we're coming for you!
That's just a car.